Hi, this is Multi-Topic Talk, as I am recording this video. We are 5 weeks away from the Advance Wars reboot camp, so I decided to do a surprise video. Yes, starting today and each week until the game is out, we will get a review from me, covering each single Advance Wars game, starting today with the first Advance Wars game. Now, in case you missed it, I did a playthrough, and that playthrough is called Road to Reboot Camp. In Road to Reboot Camp, we played each single game in the series to bring back some old memories. This is a game that marked my childhood and a lot of years as I was growing up. And when I was a teenager, I was playing with friends on my cartridge. This is a great game, a great franchise. I also remember these days where I used to play with my grandfather. This is the best strategy franchise I've ever played, and probably it will be the only one that I will play. Maybe I'm biased there. Anyway, let's review this game. So, the game has many game modes: War Room, Versus, Campaign. These are the big three. You can also create your own maps, which is very interesting. When we think about it, it's a game that was made in 2001, I believe, or maybe 2002. I can't remember exactly when the game was dropped, but considering how old this game was, just the fact that we can make our own maps is amazing. We got the normal campaign and the advanced campaign, the hard mode, the mode I will never play. Well, I actually tried on my cartridge. I was stuck on, I believe, in the mission where we can actually pick Sammy against Eagle for the first time. Yes, this is early. I'm not good enough, I will be honest there. The hard campaign is really hard. You need to learn pattern and you need to remember how many units your opponent has if you lose. So next time you can try again. The idea of the advanced campaign, you get the same army, the same size of army, but the enemy has much more unit than the normal campaign. So I think it's lazy, but that's just my take, my opinion on it. I liked what the second game did, but here let's focus on the first game. So the only difference between normal and hard is how many units you need to kill. And Kambi's Error, I believe, was the name of the mission. They actually added Fog of War, and this went crazy. This was one of the hardest mission in the game. We also got the War Room there. It's just a question of if you can get S ranks, and if you can't, get good and practice. It's all over the place, this review. We also got the versus mode where you can play against the artificial intelligence. Yes, some people may want that, even if the artificial intelligence is kind of shit. Some people are not really good at the game, so they will maybe enjoy that, and I don't know. You can also play with your friends. If you got a game on cartridge, you can play on your Game Boy up to 4 player on the same cartridge, or through emulator. Now it's a bit more complicated. If you play through emulator, you can send each other the save state, or you can play it through Parsec. But there's also Advance Wars by Web, which is a great website where you can play the game. So, yeah, Versus lets you have the option to do multiplayer and stuff. So it's interesting just to get that option. And being able to create 3 maps in the design mode, or I can't remember the name. That was actually good. Now the campaign also has a story. It's a story about many nations against each other doing war. And spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Well, Sturm, the big bad of the game, is actually the one that manipulated everything and everyone to create these wars. The idea of the story is good and interesting, and he kidnaps people. Well, actually, he replaced people. Um, the story is fine overall. We get colorful characters. Every character feel different from each other. Max is the douchebag with muscle, the one that hit first and then think. Sammy is the girl that will just rush through danger, just like Max. But she's also the mech and infantry specialist. We got Andy, the new guy that doesn't know what's an airport. Maybe that's a joke from the second Advance Wars game, actually. I can't remember. We also got Nell. She's not playable in the campaign. And once you're done with the game, I think you do unlock Nell. I'm not quite sure if you can play as Nell in the war room, but I know in the Versus you can if you unlocked her. The same goes for Sturm. What is very interesting about Advance Wars, it's a kids game that laugh at war, even if it's darker in itself. War is dark, it's not happy, but this game and the tone of the character and the story can make you smile and laugh at points, even if it's a game all about war. The characters are silly, the characters are stupid, but this is part of the charm. It's just very funny. And we got Sonya that basically kidnaps people. She has a big brain. Um, we also got Kambai, the loving father that doesn't realize he needs bases. We also get Olaf, the guy that talks about bomber, but in some mission he doesn't have any bomber. And that's the same guy that thought, oh, Naval are the best unit in the game. If you played the game, you know it's not the case. Navals are actually shit in this game. Even if they really want you to play them and like them, they are shit. They cost so much. They don't do much. So, in the campaign, we got diversity and objective. Some mission, you need to capture more building than your opponent. Other mission, you need to save some units. Other mission are just a brawl where you fight your opponent, you need to beat that opponent. Considering that that game was the first Advance Wars game, I think it had a lot of diversity. And because each nation has their own CEOs, most of the maps have different opponents. We got Drake, Olaf, Kambai, Eagle, Sonya, Sturm, Grit, Olaf. We got roughly 8 opponents to fight, 9 if we count Sturm. So a lot is going on in this game, and the fact that we fight other seals from the other nations makes it more interesting because you have several missions against Drake. He is really annoying, but at least the fight versus Drake will be different than the fight versus Kambai because they obviously have different power sets. One guy is good with Naval, which is just funny because his power is the most annoying thing ever, but his day to day is kind of shit, let's be honest. Then you got Kambai, every single Kanbai unit is just better but more expensive, and Kanbai is just really hard to fight sometimes. We also got like that long range specialist with grits. I think we fought him like 2 or 3 times. If we take the max route, because there are different route, um, different different road path, call it the way you want. If you have the max way of doing the game, I think you fight grid 3 or 4 times instead of 2 times. What made the campaign so fun and interesting to play again was the fact that each time you finish the campaign, depending on which road and which path and which choice you took, you will end up with different COs in the last mission, which is very interesting. This gives to the game a different approach each time. Uh, you can mix up things, have like Andy Max Eagle or Andy Max Kambai, that kind of stuff, you know? You can have Grit Eagle and I don't know, Andy or Grit Eagle and Max or Olaf, Max and Kambai, all that kind of stuff. And as you play the game, you get coins so you can purchase new seals and new maps in the war room, which are the side mission where you build your army, you need to defeat the guy or the girl, and yeah, the music of each seal is interesting. This is the first attempt to do that kind of game, and I think now I spoke enough about the game. I do like the game a lot, but not enough to play it over and over again. Um, the ARG campaign, as I said earlier, I'm not in the mood of playing it. It's too hard. I I'm not the biggest fan of challenging games, but if you like challenge, go for it. That may be your game because this is probably the hardest Advance Wars game we can have and play. That being said, I did speak a lot in this video. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Good music, good COs. At that point, we only had power with COs. There was no super, no tag, no big thing, just a power, you know? And this is another weakness of this game. Um, it was the first attempt, but the fact that there's really one way to play each single seal, take away something. Eagle, you're just okay. I play air unit, and the moment I get my power, I use it. Or Andy, oh look, all of my units are LT, and I don't have a day to day, so let's damage some to do the power, or let's wait until my opponent does something so I can heal my stuff, you know? And the balance in the game is another issue. I haven't played much of the player versus player with the first Advance Wars game, and I am glad. Because I don't need to have many games to know the balance of each COs. Just the fact that I fought these COs in the campaign and the war room, I have a good idea of how they are and how strong they are. Because if the Kambai's mission are hard, with Andy or Sammy, that's a clear in that Kambai is a better seal than Sammy or Andy. You don't need to fight a human to know it, because if you fight a human with the same circumstance, forget about that. The human will do better and he will just clap you. So, the balance of the seals is not that amazing. The way I see it, on top, you got Sturm and Max. These are the two rulers of the entire game. Then, you got Kambai and Eagle. After Kanbai and Eagle, well, actually, Kanbai and Eagle are probably at the same level as Nail. Nail is probably around them because Nail has a better day to day than Eagle. She has a weaker day to day than Kanbai, but I do think her power is better than Kanbai, so she belongs up there. But then you have all of the other seals. So you got 5 seals out of, I believe, 14 or 15. You have 5 out of 14 that are on top, and the rest are in the bottom. And Sonya, if it's not Fog of War, forget about that. She is terrible, she is godly awful, she's unplayable. If you want to suffer, do War Room with Sonya. I'm telling you. I did it in one of the streams. Anyway, the lack of balance makes it hard. Um, the artificial intelligence is also really bad in this game. That's another issue with the game. But, like, because it's bad, well, the art mode is going crazy with the unit count, so it's still hard, even if the artificial intelligence is bad. So, in the end, if I wasn't making content on YouTube, I don't see myself playing the first Advance Wars game because I like the others much better. And the fact that the CEOs only have their power, it's not that great. The artificial intelligence is bad. The player versus player is fine if you know people, but if you don't, it becomes complicated and you'd rather play on Advanced Wars by Web than on cartridge or emulator. So I think it's fair to say, for me, I will sound harsh here, but for me, the first Advance Wars game is a 6 out of 10. It's a game of my childhood. It's a game that is overall good. It's a game I recommend if you never played it. But it's one of the weakest entry in the series. It's how everything started, and maybe if there was no sequel, that 6 out of 10 would be higher because that would be the only game, but it's just a bit sad that this first game was like that, compared to the others. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for the first Advance Wars game for me. And yeah, the music, like I see what they were trying to do. They did it right, but the other games in the series are just better. Outside of Days of Throne, yeah. That one is a topic for another day. Anyway, with that being said, I will cover Reboot Camp. I will stream. I will review the game once the game is out. With that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. We will see each other in future video and stream. Have a great day and take care.